Alright, in the top right-hand side, we do have our blue Protoss player here. This is ShoWTimE. This is best of 5 in the semi-finals, of course, as it is every week in the ESL Open Cup Europe. And he is taking on HeroMarine, Big Gabe himself, in the Big Gabe Weekly. You know, another game on Eternal Empire. I really feel, I said this earlier when we had a game on Eternal Empire, I really feel like we've not seen much on Eternal Empire so far today. You know, I really feel like we've seen just every map other than Eternal Empire pretty much all day long, so it's kind of crazy to me. it honestly is. It feels kind of crazy if you think about it. Hey, what's up, Papa Mitch on the tier 2 sub for the 61 months, by the way, just to kick this best of 5 off. Thank you so much, and welcome back. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I feel like last map pool, we would have been like, oh my god, Eternal Empire again. It's like a best of 3, of course it's got Eternal Empire. And I mean, I guess this is a best of 5 now, but yeah, considering we've casted so many games today, not to see Eternal Empire that much has definitely been a weird set of circumstances. So yeah, kind of cool to see this switching up a little bit then as our probe out down onto the natural, and SUVs do chase for that probe, picking up a little bit of damage already. So SUV's going for the probe, and Nexus is building up on the natural. Cybercore about to finish, and the Reaper coming through as well. So Reaper going to be on the way. Very standard setup in the early minutes of the game. SCV Scout as well from HeroMarine, so not taking any risks or anything. ShoWTimE also choosing to wall off on the side to block the Reaper Scout. And yeah, so far that means there's not really been much of anything here just yet. It's the Reaper from HeroMarine will continue into the center, then decides to turn back around. Probe of ShoWTimE out down the bottom left then as the Reaper gets here. Probe taking a bunch of damage, is going to get chased, and that's a kill. Probe down, I repeat, probe down. As the Reaper and Marine get back to the front. We'll see the factory already building up in the main base, and here comes our Adept shading across the map from ShoWTimE to try and apply a little bit of further pressure then. Twilight Council already on the way in the main. Adept will continue through into the natural expansion. And will not commit just yet as we see the Twilight Council as the follow-up here from ShoWTimE. Eternal Empire, great map if you want to go 4-gate blink, so if that's a choice for ShoWTimE, second gateway already probably says it isn't then. It will just be a bit of lighter Stalker pressure / Stalker blink play in this game, as you will go for Marine kill with his Adept and then shade away. He should make it out. If the SCVs get pulled though, make it a bit more difficult. He'll get the SCV kill, but he loses the Adept. So a couple shots of SCV damage I think really made the difference there, so losing the Adept and now the Stalker's obviously here just a little bit late to the party as well. The two Hellions coming in, the Stalker taking some damage, the blink of ShoWTimE setting up in the top. There's going to be a Stalker picked off already, so Stalker gets taken down. Again, blink continuing as we see the robotics facility setting up on the natural expansion also. And another Stalker just warping in onto the natural now. Stimpack coming through the starport building, and just going to see the reactor on either side. The third Rats already coming up into the main base. Again, a few Hellions and the Reaper will continue to the top side. Hellion drops, so shield battery drops down. There's going to be a second Hellion that gets taken down as well. Still just seeing this sentry from ShoWTimE finishing up, and the Hellions and the Reaper escaping the way through to the top. There's a blink about to finish from ShoWTimE in the main. Third Nexus, obviously nice and quick. And as I've said so far, it's been really a nice setup from both sides, with the Hellions being blocked. You know, a bit of an investment early from HeroMarine that doesn't find much. ShoWTimE able to deflect that with ease so far. Obviously feels pretty good for him as the extra racks finishes, and again, a couple of extra gates from ShoWTimE already building in the main. Blink does finish, Stimpack going through. Couple Widow Mines gonna go up the left side of the map, so away they go for a couple of moments here as our Hellions are also poised out on the left-hand side. So a couple Widow Mines and a couple Hellions making their way up through the top, and well, there's our forge building. I mean, I feel like it's just a little bit of posturing. Obviously, HeroMarine looking in a few different directions for some damage. We'll drop the shield battery onto the third base. And the Stalker's doing a decent job of fighting here as well. Another Marine not quite going down just yet as the medevac will boost through. And again, directing itself towards the main base. See what these Widow Mines can get done. Engineering Bay has the +1 attack on it. Widow Mines begin to unload. ShoWTimE not paying attention. It's honestly a very offbeat timing for Widow Mine drop, and he has to split a probe away here. No! Let's say it's stacked. 8 workers down. Like I said, a very offbeat timing, and because it was 4 Hellions early, I think it's the sort of thing where ShoWTimE just switches it off in his mind. Right? He switches off in his mind. He's like, I don't think there's going to be a Widow Mine drop, so you don't really actively look for it. And so it gets in there, and HeroMarine does find some early damage then in this game number 1. Stalkers will get the medevac though, and that's a misclick for sure. I mean, why wouldn't you just keep it here and threaten the third or the main base mineral lines another time? That's absolutely an F2 or a miss hotkey, gets into the army and clicks it back home. Definitely not the way it's meant to be as Stalkers of ShoWTimE. While they continue to set up on the far left side, Warp Prism is about to finish on the Robo facility. Going to be seeing the +1 attack upgrade on the Engineering Bay finishing in a few moments. Bio Army of HeroMarine to the right, Hallucination of ShoWTimE into the main. These barracks are going to continue to finish up as we do have a couple of extra tech labs building as well. Bio units, a couple of medevacs on the right side setting up also. It's going to be seeing this third CC getting set up too. And a couple of Marines. It will deal good damage to that Hallucinated Phoenix. It gets through that charge on the way from ShoWTimE in the main prism. As Vor Zealots inside, and we'll start to take them out across the map. So they go out across the map in toward the main base. The next few moments is the plan apparently. Got a bio here already, as we'll see the Stalkers deflected pretty quickly so far, and Temple Archives up. Time to get some Storm going, maybe, or Archons. Maybe just Archons initially. Zealots in the main base. And this is one thing that I've really noticed about the top Protoss players recently. They're getting really good at timing this Prism with the Zealots into the main. Stats has been really exceptional at it lately. It's been kind of impressive because without fail, whenever the Terran makes that first major move out, boom, Zealots in the main, and it's very difficult to deal with. And that said, in this Protoss army may have a very difficult time dealing with this Terran army right now. Battery overcharge will be available. Tank siege up. He forces the siege, but he loses both sentries, so no Guardian shield. Some SCVs arriving from across the map as well to help tank. ShoWTimE needs to buy a bit of time, but the siege tanks are going to keep leapfrogging forwards. ShoWTimE backs away, but he's given up his shield batteries to do this, so this is rough. I mean, the third base of HeroMarine lifts up and relocates, but your SCV pulling anyway, so you're not really too worried about that. I mean, this is just about keeping this push going, and right now it feels like he's got way too much. ShoWTimE from the back of this coming in, but these Immortals are going to get massacred. I like the Zealots coming back from the other side of the map. It's a nice touch. It's a nice idea, but it just is not enough here, and this Bioforce is going to overwhelm. Yeah, ShoWTimE just didn't really seem to kind of click. Top right-hand side, it kind of just felt like he was playing a no splash damage style and then just didn't have the units to really make it work. Didn't really add up too well, did it? Our blue Protoss player is ShoWTimE. Taking on the red Terran in the bottom left side of the map. We have got, from Mouse Sports, it is HeroMarine. Game 2 of the best of 5. What are we expecting here on Pillars of Gold? Well, I definitely think a startup where we look at this and it's a ShoWTimE. Does he mix it up away from Blink? I guess is the biggest question. And I don't think you look at the last game, you're like, oh, that was so bad, I need to change it up, but I don't think it's bad to switch away from that, and obviously ShoWTimE's not up 1-0. HeroMarine is up 1-0. I don't know what I'm doing with the scores, guys. Apologize. Probe into the back, SCV comes in. Cyber core already building from ShoWTimE in the main base. As the probe comes around to the natural, and just going to see the depot is going to be raised, blocking that probe from getting through. And the Nexus setting up on that natural as well. We do have the SCVs pulling in and just going to be going for the probe. The probe taking damage. As our orbital command about to finish up in the main, the command center on the natural. Again, just going to be seeing the reactor from HeroMarine building up in the main base. Again, that reactor up and running. Probe is going to come back around over to the far left-hand side. So probe to the far left with that CC of HeroMarine still in production for the moment. ShoWTimE will have a Nexus building on the natural. Pylon already building on the left-hand side of this as well, and just having our factory of HeroMarine setting up into the main base. A couple of Marines on the way out of the reactor. They're going to rally out to the front. Joining in with that Marine there as this command center continuing to build. Again, it's worth mentioning then that this time it's no Reaper. With no Reaper, has less scout and info, and then ShoWTimE goes into the Stargate. Now, the benefit of no Reaper and no scout and info is that you then just naturally have more units, right? You're building 2 Marines at a time, so you've already got anti-air there. Your factory is faster because you didn't spend 50 gas on the Reaper. So, while you don't have the Scout, you're more naturally going to be prepared for this. But this is going to be Hellions. Okay, this gets really weird really quickly, because as you build Hellions right now, then you really don't have that much anti-air, and this Oracle can do more, but you don't have as much at home as ShoWTimE to defend against Hellions coming across the map, right? So that's something else to look at here, as we do see the Stalker on the way up. Oracle building on the left-hand side, then we do have the Hellions still coming through from HeroMarine. Starport finishes and starts a medevac with the Marines. Continuing across to the upper right-hand side. A couple of gateways are building. Stalkers and an Adept here to fight initially. 2 Marines taken down right away and pushing forward. Hellion also going to take a few shots of damage. Oracle gets in, picks up a couple of SCVs. 4 workers killed, make that 5. Coming along for 6. 6 workers down already, and again the medevac continues out to the upper right-hand side. Hellions, couple of Marines joining up together as we do have the robotics facility down into the main natural expansions. Again, that robo into the natural. Oracle's going to drop down a recall. Going to get home because obviously he knows he needs to get rid of this medevac right now. And if you hold this medevac without damage, you killed 6 SCVs, you're in a pretty good spot. And the Stalker's already chased it away, so yeah, good start from ShoWTimE. Because ShoWTimE got all the info, it really felt like he could respond well. And, you know, again, these Hellions are the one threat across the map, but yeah. Brings the medevac over this left-hand side. Gonna go and pick away a pylon. Medevac gonna be boosting. We do have the Nexus setting up on the 3rd base already. Just having our Phoenix continuing to come through. On the natural, Viking pushing away the Oracles on the bottom side of this. Again, the Stargate's not gonna do too much else this game, you wouldn't imagine. And RoboBase setting up on the natural here for the moment. Just gonna be seeing the couple of Stalkers, etc. setting up at the front, and Vikings actually do find these couple of Oracles here. The army of HeroMarine continuing out across the map. This time ShoWTimE's gonna have a disruptor up already to try and help him fight this up. Obviously a bit of a different fight this time as HeroMarine just goes 1-1-1. Come on, push. There's no stim or anything with this, but is it gonna be a bit too powerful then perhaps? Battery overcharge goes down. It's gonna be seen as disruptor shot goes in. Hits a couple SCVs. Battery overcharge keeping the Immortal alive for a few moments and still trying to push into this. The Stalkers and healed up as well. Again, a few SCVs already down, and seeing our Viking gonna make its way across the map also. HeroMarine gets a lock on for a moment or so. Oh, that's that GG. That was not quite the ending of game number 2 I was expecting. The ending of that last game, a classic kind of question marks in the chat moment, but again, just to reiterate, HeroMarine was all in. It was just we were kind of expecting HeroMarine to at least try and push forward one more time, right? At least try and get in there once more to just try and trade out, but obviously he just said, no, not possible. And now it gets tied up. 1-1, tied up. ShoWTimE in the top left side of the map. With HeroMarine, our Red Terran, in the bottom right. Our semi-final number 1 of ESL Open Europe today. If you want to check out semi-final 2 again, it's already starting up on Roddy's stream. With current pacing, we are likely to be able to catch maybe the tail end of that before we go into the finals, so a little heads up about what's going on as we get ourselves going into this game 3. So yeah, getting into game 3 of this for the moment. About around the bottom side, you have an SCV in the center, and the Stalker from ShoWTimE Corona boosting out as the Adept already shading forward there. The Reaper of HeroMarine up the top side, gonna patrol a little bit, and we do have the Twilight Council of ShoWTimE into the natural, so getting that up and running. Twilight getting through. Nexus about to finish up. Stalker comes straight in, few shots onto the Reaper. We're already taking that damage as we do have another Stalker building up. Warp Gate coming through, and the starport of HeroMarine into the main base. Adept shades up into the main, and just going to be seeing the extra couple of Marines and a Hellion building in the main. So continuing to get this going. This Hellion opening, so obviously this time not reactoring the Hellions, so maybe just the one Hellion to help him get across the map and scout. No, he's going to go for a second one as well, so we'll still kind of have a little bit of extra pressure with this. Again, it is the Reaper this time, so not too many Marines either. And ShoWTimE gets the Adept out of there. Minor delays, nothing too crazy. As we have that Blink opener once more. Again, just 2 gates though, so ShoWTimE looking for a fairly quick third base. Probe already put in position at 340. I'd imagine, is that really a 345 Nexus he's looking for? Surely not. He just go to set up maybe a pylon. He's just going to keep the probe there in position. We'll go Robo first and then the third. A little bit closer to 4 minutes, which is kind of the usual expectation. So, yeah, it wasn't super early, but ShoWTimE had me believing for a few moments it might have been. So yeah, 2 gates in the Robo, just a nice way to set up. Gives you a good amount of Stalkers. Then gets you the tech to continue through as well. Another Stalker warps in at the front. Here's the barracks from HeroMarine into the main. Hellions on the map with the medevac. They're going to kill off this Adept. The ShoWTimE will lose out on a Adept. A few Hellions load up and we'll go boosting across the top left-hand side. The Reaper setting up there with the medevac across the side, and the Blink just building on the Twilight Council. So, again, that's going to be done soon. Will it help ShoWTimE deal with this medevac? Probably not. This is a very annoying map for harassment with all that dead airspace. Maybe one of the reasons we see HeroMarine commit to the Raven here. A lot of potential for auto turrets, and with Blink, there's not really a way to ever shut down medevacs that just decide to sit here forever and ever. So it is something to, you have to basically keep units at home. And it can pin back, Imagine you have 3 Stalkers in the main, 3 in the nat, 3 in the third. That's like 18 supply just kept at home constantly because of you're afraid of perhaps multiple, multiple kind of, prongs of aggression, multiple kind of directions which you could go in from. Okay, a few Marines coming through. There's the Raven popping out from HeroMarine, and as the reactor sets up on the starport Raven is just going to stay at home for the moment. I mean, typically you keep it at home right away to get a couple of observer snipes if possible. There's kind of, I don't know what the moment is or what the decision is where you say, right, now I'm sending that Raven to drop auto turrets and harass the mineral line. I don't know what the breaking point really is for the Terran, but there is that point. Maybe it depends what you're really aiming to do, right? If you really feel like you need an anti-armor missile, you need a matrix to make the push happen. And if you don't, then make use of the Raven energy elsewhere, right? If it's going to cap out on energy, get it harassing, or if you don't see it being much of a use in the army instead, you know, in that sort of way as well, right? So, definitely a couple ways to look at it. Charge is halfway done from ShoWTimE, as you do see Hallucination already heading down to the bottom side of the map. Marines and a couple of siege tanks. We'll move out the natural. Raven is overhead, so a push from HeroMarine with that Raven involved. Now, Stim Combat +1, it's all, what, 40-ish seconds away? There or thereabouts. So, he needs, you know, as he pushes across, it's what, like a 40-second rush distance map. Like, I think it's 38 or 39, so that's natural to natural. So, yeah, I mean, obviously he was already moving out, so by the time he arrives, his upgrades will be done. He actually backs away right now anyway. His Stalkers will blink, deny that Reaper from getting too much more info. So let's walk back into the grenade, and HeroMarine just says, yeah, not going to commit to this, just trying to scare you a little bit. He has got his third CC behind this, which he'll float over into position, land, and get to mining in the next few moments. So obviously ShoWTimE 3 minutes ago placed his third down. Finished up about 2 minutes ago. Now HeroMarine has his own third in location. Starts to get that saturated. We already just see kind of an upgrade difference between the two of them. A +1 attack versus +1 armor, but that's evening out. And again, attack versus armor is the typical kind of go-to for TvP Terrans or range units, whereas a lot of this Protoss units are, you know, melee units. So the armor works better on melee units than it does for the range units. As you see, +1 armor does get finished. Robo continuing to build a storm on the way, in that Templar Archive still coming through. Plenty of the Marines out over on the left-hand side. They move around a little bit themselves. Now joining up, a couple of extra Marines going to be joining up and, again, maybe seeing where they can go. Hallucination through into the main base already. So Hallucination gets straight through into the main. That Storm is continuing to build. +1 attack on the way up. Fourth Nexus of ShoWTimE on the right-hand side. So again, that fourth Nexus up and running. A couple of Marines spreading out, and the Zealot already kind of charging in. He is chasing the Marines, so Marines will get sliced and diced and taken on down as Zealot, Stalker, Sentry, Immortal, High Templar all setting up. Marine chases and gets the probe. The Zealot will be able to kill off this Marine as well, so takes that down. The rest of these Marines and the medevac's just going to come across and gather up on the bottom side of the map as well. ShoWTimE will make his way around to the right. There's a couple of Zealots. I'll charge straight in there to pick off that first Marine. Fire units unloading. Just going to see our Marines in the middle. Medevac's already healing up some of these, and we do have the Prism of ShoWTimE overhead. This whole army comes across the map. I mean, in the end, HeroMarine's not really done much, but he's been building up himself, right? You know, he's set himself toward the ghosts. He's getting himself enhanced shockwaves. So he's getting himself in the right direction. He's got a defensive setup that I don't think ShoWTimE can really break at all. Robo Bay finishing up on the natural as the Colossi, 2 of them at a time, starting to build, and just going to be seeing the Zealots, Immortals, and Archons picking their way through these rocks. So rocks will go down. 2-2 upgrades still coming in. The Colossi will finish shortly as we have our bio down at the bottom. Command Center is going to land. ShoWTimE still just pushing down the left. And ShoWTimE's army more or less maxed out. And as they go to 4 bases each, ShoWTimE just takes the 5th without really slowing. And again, he doesn't really need a fight because he's going into Colossi. His army's only getting better, so no reason to take a fight too soon, basically, right? So yeah, just setting for that as this force of ShoWTimE will clean out rocks on the right-hand side. Opens up possibilities to go across. Now, Again, you see the upgrades there even on both sides of this. Really both just accepting the late game here. Not that it gets chased. There's a Dark Shrine from ShoWTimE, which is again that kind of late game harassment setup. You've seen that kind of really come into play the last month or two, where you just get a lot of DTs, and we really mean like a hell of a lot of DTs. With all those DTs, you blink them into planetaries, you shut down bases with them. So what you can do is those Zals will charge across, and these Marines will fall. So it's a good shutdown on the right side of the map. ShoWTimE, obviously, with those Zals can continue through, but HeroMarine leaves a lot of units. I mean, everything's at home right now, but there's a lot of tanks in each location, so there's not really one weak spot to really look at here. And the Zals are going to go in, a little bit of hold position, trying to find some SCVs. What do they get? They get 3, 4, 5. Okay, I mean, 5 is okay, but then some extra Zals are showing up, and they're not going to do anything. At the same time, you could argue ShoWTimE maybe freeing up a bit of supply to keep on producing his tech units, but well, I mean, Zealots are kind of nice to have. I mean, you'd rather keep those Zealots out there and maybe wait a little while. I mean, he's not remaxing on anything else just yet, so maybe he is just waiting to add more robo units into play before he does much else with this then. The army of HeroMarine is through the bottom side, and again, the army of ShoWTimE rotating around. A couple of Vikings and a Raven up overhead, Shadow Stride on the way, +2 attack finishing, +3 armor starting. That's that +3 attack on the way on the Forge also. Disruptor gonna find a few units, and again, HeroMarine actually moving out this time and maybe getting a bit aggressive. Man, what a passive game though. Both of them kind of accepting, let's play a long macro game here on Death Aura. Money on either side is raking on up. I mean, you're talking about a, you know, a little bit of a smaller gas bank, but definitely that mineral count from ShoWTimE. And again there, Shadow Stride on the way, so it can get to the point of the extra GTs coming through, and the scan setting up. Fire to the top, Hallucination gets picked off. Storm on the edge. Oh, the High Templar just got blown up. Well, these ghosts on a mission with the EMPs, and they hit big EMPs. Disruptor will get the ghost at least, but wow, I can't believe all the High Templar was stacked and got blown up by tanks. DTs don't do enough over here. Once again, HeroMarine has the units left at home to defend this. And ShoWTimE, well, he rebuilds very quickly, but I mean, you can rebuild all you like, but he doesn't have the Storm Energy ready to go. HeroMarine already has the first nuke lined up to this top side. It's going to land very soon as ShoWTimE makes his way down the map. Nuke will be denied. DT gets there for the denial. Okay, well now HeroMarine has to come and deal with the fact that ShoWTimE decided to be aggressive. Pushing down this bottom side, Orbital Command's already taking some hefty hits. Tanks are sieging up, the Vikings and the Raven coming through. A little bit of a stim from HeroMarine heading across. 2 more nukes on the way down from HeroMarine in the production. They're going to be really important as well. And 3/3 upgrades coming through on our forges. Just going to see gravitic boosters. Even the observer speed, right? But the thing is, well, this wasn't maybe pretty for ShoWTimE. He has got all the bases. Base number 6 on the way. And HeroMarine does not get out to base 5 just yet. And I feel like getting out of base 5 and base 6 is the more difficult thing to do here on Death Aura. 4 bases come easily. Base 5 is kind of around this corner. It's a little bit tougher. Base 6, especially out the way. If ShoWTimE can hold these bases and HeroMarine doesn't get to them, in the end, this is obviously then great for ShoWTimE. Another nuke lining up. Well, you also have the triple drop in the top right, but ShoWTimE is here, knows about it, so he's already sending his units into position, has a Storm available as well. And he does know about this nuke. He will let it land. That's the probe setting up. New nuke onto the natural straight away. Here comes this Bioforce, but there's just no way you do anything here, right? Zealots come up, nice Storm. You don't really deal with that. Nice shutdown on the Ghost, so the next nuke doesn't land. Another Storm available. Gonna land it once again. Just keep this Bioforce push back. HeroMarine will not break the far right side of Death Aura just yet. So yeah, good defensive play from everybody so far in this, right? You see a couple of Zealots and Stalkers getting a Marine. This from HeroMarine coming through. Bio sets up. First disruptor shot goes in. Tank takes a hit. The rest of these tanks going to unsiege from HeroMarine and look to keep on pressing forward. Nexus into the right-hand side. The Stargate onto the back of the natural as well. Sets that up as Stalkers come through. DTs will blink across. Picks up the bunker already. Storms! Ooh, big storms into the mineral line. 11, 12, 14 SCVs going down and counting at the moment. 18 workers down as the Archon and the Stalkers still out here. Doing some decent damage. 19 SCVs killed. I mean, this is finally some harassment that really commits. Nukes being denied left, right, and center, so ShoWTimE's defense stands strong. He's taking the rich double Vespene on the right side of the map. So HeroMarine really pushing out to the left side to take and establish this base, but in doing so, weakens his defenses on the right, and ShoWTimE really is able to get through and deal damage there. Let's talk about a bit of the resources lost, etc. 12k to 9k favoring ShoWTimE. Actually, almost 13k to 9k favoring ShoWTimE. Income, I mean, income you can see in the bottom right also favoring ShoWTimE too, but actually just look at the bank. You don't even need to look at the income. Look at what ShoWTimE has to spend. 7k and 1.5k. If he wins a fight and can just warp in a bunch of zealots, he's going to have a great time. Right now, he's feeling safe enough that he might just be able to go into carriers and storms. Carriers and so on with the fleet beacon. If you get to carriers as a Protoss player in TvP, you're going to have a great time. And this was amazing. Just catches a whole chunk of unit army here. That's great. These two disruptors running into everything, not so much. Now he gets the disruptor shot off. He's actually just killing bases. Okay, here when you kill the left-hand side base, but hey, this is 2 command centers already down. And you're going to line up on the rich Vespene. HeroMarine will continue forward, decides which base to go for. He's going to go for the 3rd. DT is going to blink in, try and kill what they can. As here we go, big fight breaks out. Anti-armor missile is down, plenty of siege tanks. The disruptors are all going the wrong way. ShoWTimE blinks forwards. He will go for the tanks. A bit of mishap there in ShoWTimE's army control. Is it going to be enough to clean up? There's a couple Stalkers. They get one more tank. The nuke lining up on the top. As this 3rd base is going to go down in the next few moments, or is it Zealots are buying a lot of time? This nuke will land. It's only for cannons and a shield battery, though. But it is still a bit of ShoWTimE's defense that's cleaned up. HeroMarine drained of minerals. ShoWTimE with minerals to spend. He's going into carriers. A risky time to go into carriers when you've got to rebuild your entire army, more or less. These medevacts are going out down to the bottom side. The Colossus gets here, picks off a Marine. Archon continuing to build, and again, the army of HeroMarine out to the right. Fire units will stem forward. All the way to this far right-hand side, and Vikings there going to get the Warp Prism, so it goes down pretty quickly. Zealots will charge through. Disruptors get rid of a bunch of tanks right away. A little bit of a better move on the Disruptors this time. That Disruptor connects after one got a bit too far forward. Zealots leave the charge in, the tanks go down, and it feels like ShoWTimE has more than enough to clean this up. All of HeroMarine's attempts, again, ShoWTimE was just too good defensively throughout the game. And while HeroMarine was very good defensively, ShoWTimE was just better in the end. He lasted for longer. He got to more bases defensively, while being defensively sound. And yes, in the end, he lost a base over here. He actually didn't lose this base here. He lost a lot of probes, but for the most part, job well done, ShoWTimE. Well, that was a tough victory, right? I mean, 20 minutes into this game. I'm going to get to you in a few moments, because I don't know what HeroMarine does to stay in it. A ghost is seen. ShoWTimE is chasing it. He actually loses a high tempo, which gets sniped by the ghost. I mean, at least he gets a final shot before he goes out fighting. There we go. A big push down the bottom side. Planetary Fortress, Orbital Command. Going to push straight into this. Going to go running through. Zealots go charging in. SCVs are running into the into this already. Disruptors off to the right-hand side, and there goes the Planetary Fortress. Planetary Fortress will fall. 24 SCVs going down. Chasing this Orbital Command away to the bottom side as well. This will fall as well. GHG fixed into the GG, and ShoWTimE takes the 2-1 lead in the best of 5. ShoWTimE, ShoWTimE, ShoWTimE. Have that. Top right side up 2-1. Our blue Protoss player is ShoWTimE. Against the red Terran. The bottom left hand side from Mouse Sports, it is HeroMarine. Again, what a passive game for the most part. HeroMarine decided to sit back, went to ghosts, Made a bit of a move out, but never really passed the halfway marker on the map. And again, ShoWTimE was very good defensively throughout for the most part. You have the probe making its way to the bottom left here. ShoWTimE scout across the map. Reaper is already building from HeroMarine in the main, of course. Command center onto the natural. Probe doesn't actually get there to really delay it all, so it gets down pretty much immediately as the Nexus from ShoWTimE continues on his own natural expansion as well. Okay, just setting up for this at the moment, continuing to build here over the next few minutes, seeing where we're gonna go. ShoWTimE has mixed in a little bit of, well, he's just kind of played Blink a lot, right? So he's been going pretty consistently with that. It's gone a couple different ways from the Blink, I think. Well, yeah, I think mostly has actually just been blinking, right? Like a bit of a dub. 11.5 hours in the stream, and I kind of forgetting what happened in this series. I think he just went Blink every game. We also casted ShoWTimE. No, he went Oracles that game, right? He went for the Proxy Oracle on Pillars of Gold. That's what I was trying to think of. For some reason, I was thinking that was the previous series. Obviously, it was not. That was just 2 maps ago. So yeah, but mostly Blink, and into kind of a similar kind of gateway heavier setup. Not really rushing out any sort of the splash damage right away, at least. And now, of course, and then that one kind of proxy Stargate game that went very well for him, and HeroMarine kind of all-ined into him, and then just kind of left. This also wasn't really like an epic conclusion, right? So it's also a fairly easy one to forget about a little bit in that regard. Yeah, for sure. Well, we do see this Adept is making its way across that left-hand side. Blink is building from ShoWTimE in the main base. We just got the Widow Mine in production. HeroMarine getting the medevac out as well, so you'll have the double Widow Mine drop. Back to the golden standard of TvP, right? The double Widow Mine drop. In fairness, we see this less and less nowadays. I mean, we went from a position where it was like we see this like every game to like now we see it like, you know, a fair amount of games, but there's a lot more kind of some Hellion openers and stuff, and a few ways to switch it up. It's still very popular, but it was like 100% of the time being used, and now it is a little less. Let's see what his plan may be. Siege tank starts already. Obviously, there's a few builds where you can get aggressive off the back of this if you go Marine tank, and depends what you get. You can get like a Liberator off the starport and go a different direction with that, and there's a lot of kind of multi-pronged action you can make happen, basically, as we do see the 2 Widow Mines in the medevac are, for the moment, across the bottom side. Liberator building on the main base. And just seeing the 2 Widow Mines out across the far right, so they're going to take a turn and go up right side of the map there toward the natural expansion. Blink going to finish up, and the Observer coming through from ShoWTimE as well. HeroMarine with that medevac still just sat out to the side. A couple of gateways building in the main. Observer on the Robo facility. Again, the few Stalkers off to the side. The Observer is here as well. Keeping an eye on this, as we're going to be seeing HeroMarine with this siege tank popping out, going to the natural expansion. Turks are gated to ShoWTimE in the main base, and just going to be seeing our army. Marines, tank, and SCVs coming across. SCVs following the siege tank at the moment. Stalkers get there. Marines taking a little bit of damage. And a couple of extra racks coming through from HeroMarine then. So building that up as Marines and the tanks and the SCVs all pushing across the map. And again, that's the pressure. He's obviously got a couple of units kept back for this Widow Mine drop, but not that many, and that's why he's able to trade well as this attack comes across. There's the Liberator, like I mentioned, so you can really pull this in different directions. And now ShoWTimE Now he has to move the probes, and that hurts a little bit more, but he jumps on this army. Okay, so he's going to say, you know what, I'm not going to mine in the main, because I'm going to focus fully on shutting this down. There's the Widow Mine drop, and he sees it coming. So he's not mining a lot right now, but the main push completely denied. And he gets a couple Stalkers into the main, which will try and deal with this. The Widow Mine's still alive. Probes back to mine. I think killing off the Marine tank army is completely worth this. Yes, you lose mining time, but boy, does HeroMarine lose a lot. Resources lost is a huge difference. Yes, it's a huge spike of income advantage to HeroMarine, but that gets fixed now. The biggest thing I would say is that the Liberator is still alive. The Medevac is, ooh, well, very low, but still alive as well. But it's still keeping units back. So from that point of view, HeroMarine's kind of like, okay, well, this is kind of nice, right? Keeping some units back, keeping him away from me. Doing a great job of it as the 1-1 upgrades on the engineering base on the back of the natural. Rest of the Stalkers through to the bottom side against Impact, Combat Shield. 1-1, all them bio upgrades, so takes a little while to get to the bio upgrades, but it's only because you went 3cc initially as HeroMarine, so you do have a faster 3 base. And ShoWTimE's getting aggressive. Yeah. Don't think that's really something that's gonna fly for him or be too successful. ShoWTimE up 10 workers then as again, 3 Stalkers are left here for this Liberator. You still got 1 Stalker on each of these mineral lines for the Medevac. So yeah, imagine all of this was over here. Imagine there's 5 more Stalkers. Then you may be looking at that little fight and you're like, oh yeah, ShoWTimE, he's about to jump on this. He's about to have a great time, but no. Absolutely not the case. Extra Widow Mines of HeroMarine in the main. Just going to be seeing this Prism loads up, and the Zealots are going to go straight to the main. So 4 Zealots going to go into the main here, and we do have the Stalkers of ShoWTimE. We'll go up into the natural. Zealots unloading, and we're going to go for Combat Shields. Obviously, he doesn't know how far along Combat Shields is here. The SCVs get pulled to fight. I mean, SCVs... Okay, Combat Shields is going to finish. If he'd gone for Stim, he might have gone it, because Stim was just a few seconds later. And maybe a bit more open. Actually might deny Conquest of Shells, but... Well, these Zealots didn't do as crazy as maybe initially expected. They pull the units back into the main. In fairness, a lot of SCVs were pulled, but none of them really continue to commit through to the fight. Does he have a kill on this siege tank? He does. 7 SCVs, kills a tank. 2 Stalkers on the natural that didn't really make a move. 4th base coming up. That Liberator comes in, shut down immediately. No look there. Looks like this Medevac shut down as well. Was that killed? Yep. So yeah, all of this harassment from HeroMarine is now gone, and ShoWTimE can focus a bit more on the map. I mean, I like the idea. It's the right time for HeroMarine to come in, but ShoWTimE is just very diligent. Just said, yep, I'm just going to leave my units there, and I'm not going to move them until those threats are gone, because they are supply that you are committing to the game right now. And they are going to be very annoying if I just decide to forget about them. So, I like ShoWTimE's way of handling that, honestly. Here comes the army. Bioforce from HeroMarine through the bottom side. Stalker Immortal on the 3rd base. Biostim's in. Single Stalker blinks back. Storm is Chrono boosting. And you just see a couple of Zealots going in for some of these SCVs. He's taking a bit more damage. There's another Zealot that gets picked up, and again, 2-2 upgrades. Still coming into the main base. Stalker's gonna go blinking up, and HeroMarine with a big attack. ShoWTimE shuts this down. He's in a nice spot. He's got the Storm available, and I just don't think HeroMarine really has the tech to fight this. He doesn't have EMPs to weaken up the Archons, the Immortals. You know, remove the High Templars from the game. If the Prism had the High Templars inside, this army might have already been dead of HeroMarine, but yeah, HeroMarine loses his tanks, and now he loses some of his defensive posturing units as well in not having the siege tanks anymore, and he's not ready for the Storms in the slightest. Those 2 are good. The Widow Mines don't really connect on anything too meaningful. They don't get big connections that you're really looking for there. Them back around the center. We do see a Dark Shrine once more from ShoWTimE. We saw the value of that in the last game. Not only good harassment, but he actually caught some of the units of, you know, HeroMarine multiple times, blinking in on them, and really was able to get a lot out of that. As all of those High Templars drop back off. This one actually took a bit of a beating. I guess it ate a Widow Mine shot. This one right here. Fortunately, it wasn't already hurt. Otherwise, he would have lost the High Templar. That does make you reconsider continuing to use it, right? You know, because if you want to continue using that Prism, then it takes another Widow Mine shot, and boom, you lose all your High Templar. That ain't gonna be pretty. Ain't gonna be pretty at all, as the Bioforce of HeroMarine is gonna go out the right. His fourth base only just starting. And that's the thing. ShoWTimE is just expanding so comfortably and easily. And fantastic there for the most part, right? As we do see this Bio Army coming in. A couple Stalkers and the Archon will go down. Rest of this Bio Army from HeroMarine gonna go stimming around up to the top. And Force from HeroMarine in the bottom right as well. When he's split up, he's trying to bring some pressure. He's taking damage as Zealots find their way into this mineral line. There's just no unity. A couple of Marines aren't going to make the difference. A Marine and some Widow Mines maybe could do something if the Widow Mines don't splash bad. That was pretty much perfect. So even still, it took him 12 SCV losses before he was able to get that defense. Prism actually eats the Storm for a moment. Battery overcharge on the right side. The Templars get him with the Storms again. How do you push into that? All the Ghosts on the left. Well, ShoWTimE moved it a little bit too far down. Didn't realize the army was off to the left side. Oh my god, he just chased this away. The Storms were actually really good as HeroMarine was obviously distracted. And now ShoWTimE is picking up so many units. So many kills so far as the rest of these Stalkers pulling back into the center. A couple more Colossi in production. The Gravitic boosters, that Observer speed once again. ShoWTimE just free to get anything and everything that he wants. 3-3 upgrades. Base number 5 is finished, by the way. HeroMarine just about to land base 4. Center will land. We're still just seeing our Bioforce of HeroMarine to the right. This army of ShoWTimE in the center, and the Colossus coming through. We do see the 2 Medivacs of HeroMarine up to the top side. Storm drops. Bit of Bio taking damage there, and just going to be seeing the extra couple of Vikings coming through. Colossus going to continue to Chrono Boost out. Robo Facility going to finish up there. More Colossi rallying out to the front as we do see 3-3 upgrades setting up. Shadow Stride on the Dark Templar, on the Dark Shrine. And again, we kind of settle ourselves down as ShoWTimE is maxed out. HeroMarine still has a group of units down here as Zealots is picked off. Man, he also has a good chunk of units here, ShoWTimE, to defend with, though. The thing is, just never felt like HeroMarine's had the armies which he really needs in these battles, right? Definitely part of the problem here throughout this set of games. ShoWTime's just looked better and better as the series went on. Game 1 kind of got rolled. Game 2 kind of, you know, an attack kind of flopped. And Game 3 looked pretty good, pretty convincing. And Game 4 looked pretty convincing from even earlier in the game. I mean, this time he had, you know, last game obviously not much happened early. This game he actually got to a very good start. A really good setup initially. As that's going to be the Vikings, though. They find a Colossus. Obviously, it's scary with the Prism there, because if the Prism gets too close, the Vikings will shut that Prism down as well. So that's also going to be pretty painful. As the Disruptors continuing out, they're going to rally forward. The Nexus of ShoWTimE up on the 12 o'clock, and again, HeroMarine's forces moving into the middle of the map. Bio units, Vikings, Medivacs, all moving to the right center. And, well, a couple of EMPs available, and that's going to be Archons already taking some shots. Here we go. Colossi going to lead the charge forward. The Archons are here. A lot of these Vikings will be going down, and I mean, the Colossi get picked off pretty quickly. Honestly, this wasn't the fight I was sort of expecting this to be, I suppose. If ShoWTimE wins, though, on the ground, he could chase for a lot of the Medivacs, which I think would be worthwhile. He's still just got a Warp into Zealots also coming across, but the Prism down, the Colossi dead. He's got so many high-energy Templar in the back. Obviously, he has to be very cautious of the EMP, because you don't want to lose all of those at once. Because with those High Templar and those Storms, you could absolutely make a push through here. So we'll charge on through. The Stalkers are here as well. Big Storm drops. Medivacs taking some hefty damage. Good couple feedbacks. I like that. Takes away some of the EMP potential. And there's still High Templar in the back here as well. I think there's one, maybe 2 EMPs. Okay, there's 2 EMPs still available right now. ShoWTimE has a Disruptor moving through as well, by the way, behind all of the 6 bases up. And we've not really talked about that because the pressure and the, the focus has been on HeroMarine side of the map with, ShoWTime's attacks. Goes off one of those ghosts, huge Zealot DT attack around the left, and that's just going to go straight in that Planetary Fortress. It's dead. What do you reckon? He's going to blink in, and 3 seconds later it dies. So 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a 3-second planetary fortress kill. And now he's going to chase the SCVs while keeping the action going over here. Disruptors, there's multiple firing, and he does get one of them to connect. The reinforcements of HeroMarine being surrounded by DTs. They're going to be able to blink out a scan in a second, and HeroMarine doesn't stick around. ShoWTimE closes the series out 3-1, and he is victorious. GG.